Welcome to Math Tape 065, Translating Words into Variable Expressions. The topic on this tape is especially important because real life is a word problem. Only after we translate the words into mathematical symbols can we unleash the power of mathematics on a problem and attempt to solve it. As you watch the tape, take careful notes. Be sure to mark on your notes any place you don't understand what's on the tape, or any place that you have trouble working a problem in the exercises that I give you. Then take your notes with you when you go to the lab so that you can get help from a lab instructor or a tutor. The objective on this tape is to translate verbal expressions into variable expressions. Translate verbal expressions into variable expressions. As with any translation, we have to begin with some basic vocabulary. We're going to look at vocabulary for the 4 operations of arithmetic: add, subtract, multiply, and divide, and also for some special exponents. So let's begin with add. There are many phrases or words that tell us to add. The single most important is sum, which means the answer in addition. I've put a star beside this. I recommend that you do so in your notes. Sum is the answer in addition. As we work through problems using these phrases, we're going to be using the order of operations. In the order of operations, adding and subtracting are the last things we do. If the word sum appears, chances are we're going to have to find that answer in addition before we use it in the problem. Therefore, we often put the sum in parentheses. The answer in addition is often enclosed in parentheses. The sum is enclosed in parentheses. Other words that mean add are increased by, added to, more than, plus, and total, which is actually another word meaning the answer in addition. Increased by, added to, more than, plus, and total. Let's look at examples of these phrases at work. We'll start with the sum of 5 and a number. Sum tells us we're finding the answer in addition, and so we can write down the addition sign immediately. We're adding 5 and a number, so let's write 5 plus the number. Now, to stand for the number, we'll have to choose a variable. Let's use the variable n for number this time. And so we get 5 plus n. Now notice that this time the parentheses are not needed because all we're doing is adding. There's nothing else going on in the problem. Next, let's look at a number added to 40. A number added to 40. Added to tells us that we're going to add. A number added to 40. Let's put a number. This time let's use the letter X. A number added to 40 looks like this: X plus 40. You might have the feeling that the number added to 40 means we would start with 40 and then add the number to it. 40 plus the number. So let's write 40 plus X and think about whether that means the same thing. 40 plus X Does that mean the same thing as x plus 40? Of course it does, because in addition is commutative, the order doesn't matter, and so either way you want to write it is correct. Next, 11 more than a number. 11 more than a number. More than tells us to add. 11 more than a number means we'll take 11 and add it to a number. This time, for the variable to stand for a number, let's use the letter k. 11 plus k. Or you could write k plus 11 if you wish. For our next vocabulary, let's look at words that tell us to subtract. For subtract, the answer is called the difference. The difference is the answer in subtraction. Since subtraction may come at the end of an order of operations problem, we'll often write that difference in parentheses. Other words that mean subtract are decreased by, subtracted from, less than, and minus. In subtraction, does it matter which number is written first? Of course it does. Subtraction is not commutative, and so we have to pay attention to which number comes first. When we write the difference between two numbers, the order is, well, let's look at an example. The order is the same as it appears in the words. Our first example says the difference between a number and 2. If we use n to stand for the number, difference tells us we're going to subtract the difference between a number and 2. The number comes first, n, 2 comes last. The difference between a number and 2 is n subtract 2. Notice that the key words here are difference between, which tells us we're subtracting, and then and, which tells us when we have finished with the first number and we're getting ready for the second. The order remains the same as it's written in English.